11 games on the Monday NBA menu. Two of them here on TNT. First, the Thunder and Wizards, called by Kevin Harlan, Reggie Miller, and Kristen Ledlow, and then the Hawks and Blazers with Brian Anderson, Brent Barry, and Lewis Johnson. Here in Atlanta, TNT NBA Tip-Off is presented by Autotrader, Ernie Johnson, Shaq, Kenny, Charles. We might get to the OKC-Washington game in this pregame show. We have a few things we need to talk about, including the statement that came out from the commissioner. The commissioner came out with a statement after what happened last week at Madison Square Garden. In an effort to find a path forward, New York's Knicks owner Jim Dolan, Charles Oakley, and I met today at the league office along with Michael Jordan, who participated by phone. Both Mr. Oakley and Mr. Dolan were apologetic about the incident and subsequent comments. Mr. Dolan expressed his hope that Mr. Oakley would return to MSG as his guest in the near future.
That's big.
This was after Friday when he banned him from Madison Square Garden. But now, well, hopefully, Chuckster, this is an end to this fiasco.
You know, I've been in the NBA for 30 years. This is probably the silliest, most BS thing I've ever seen in my 30 years in the NBA. This was a waste of time, waste of energy. It's a bad look for the Knicks. It's a bad look for Charles Oakley, and it's a bad look for the NBA. And I cannot believe we're wasting all our time on this crap.
Well, obviously, Commissioner Silvers saw it that way too and said we need to sit down and talk and move forward on this thing.
Well, I think it does send a better message that they sat down after all of these supposed differences and were able to come to agreement. But
that's all Oakley wanted. That's all Oakley wanted was.
That's all he wanted, and I think that's all everyone wanted.
Yeah.
Because even as a former player, you know, we felt what Oakley was feeling, and we also felt what Dolan was feeling.
What was that?
Well, you know, like disrespected.
You call all them people back and you don't call him back.
Yeah. So I just think overall this was.
That team.
I think this was
about toughness. It was all him.
But I'm just happy
showed
that
him some recognition.
You know,
That's all he wanted.
We're in the era of the clapback era, and I think this is a great way to say we don't have to all the time, and we can kind of figure out a way to come to agreement.
Yeah,
kudos to Adam Silver.
Yeah, and it took a comical turn almost yesterday when
that was comical.
There were 7 former Knicks at the game, including Latrell Sprewell, who
this is the
going years back had it out with Jim Dolan. So.
Man, this is so silly.
So let's please.
Come on, man.
Close the book on this chapter.
Let me ask you a question.
Please.
How bad? Listen, no disrespect, and I'm gonna go there. How bad is the NBA that we spend all our time talking about stuff that's unimportant and insignificant?
Good. That's it.
We can't even just talk about basketball anymore.
Okay.
Well, you know.
All right.
I'm glad the meeting happened because
I am too.
I'm glad. I think that Oakley, you know, even though he was wrong in the incident, he did deserve better treatment, and he did deserve to have that meeting. So
I'm happy
for him. Let's move on. Here's something else from yesterday's New Orleans game against the Kings.
I watched that game.
The rookie Buddy Hield.
He had another loose ball foul.
This definitely was. You know where we're going, don't you, Chuckster? This is Buddy Hield trying to fight
balls out defense.
Trying to fight through that screen, and
that's balls out defense right there.
got himself a flagrant 2. As if I need to say that.
Let me just say this, Ernie. I will say we're gonna laugh and joke about this, but DeMarcus Cousins got jobbed again last night.
The technical they called on him?
The technical called on him last night was wrong. You know, first of all, obviously people know me and DeMarcus have our differences, but in that situation, there's been some incidents that happened to him. The referee's got to take a step back and says, are we looking at this kid differently? Because the foul on Dwayne Wade was not a foul. But last night, giving him a technical, which puts him in a bad situation.
Because another one now means another game. Yeah.
So the officials need to get together and says, are we making a mistake? Because that was not a flagrant foul. That was not a technical.
The other thing, I agree. But I also would say this. DeMarcus Cousins has to look at himself and say, am I acting differently than the rest of the players as well?
And I agree with
well said.
You know,
well said. Here's one for you. Joel Embiid. has missed several games. This will be his 10th tonight.
Come on,
He's sitting
man.
out.
Y'all are ruining the NBA, man.
he's got-
Y'all are ruining the NBA
And
with all this extracurricular junk, as I call it.
Embiid has got
I thought he had a torn meniscus.
A slight meniscus. Brian Colangelo was,
guy jamming,
saying,
though.
you know what, I think
jamming, though,
he
Ernie.
crossed a line here. I mean,
Well, first, we cross the line for all fat people like me and Shat. You can't be taking your shirt off in public.
Oh, no, you're obese.
First of all, you can't take your shirt off in public either.
May 5th.
so if you,
May 5th.
They go to-
Check
what
that
would
shirt off
your-
competition part 2.
big man to big man, what would your message be to Joel Embiid?
Well, when you're hurt, you kind of got to chill out and relax. You know?
Yeah, I think
Definitely
that
gotta-
would be a
you definitely gotta
good
chill out
bit of
and relax.
advice.
And, you know, the way he was moving and getting down low, don't look like his meniscus was torn to mid.
Well, I will say, I will say
what?
I will say,
what are you going to
Stop it,
say?
Don't look like it was torn to mid.
Penny,
Oh,
stop it.
stop it,
like,
man.
no, sir, when
Stop
you
it.
juju on the beat,
Stop
you don't
it,
really
man.
need to have your meniscus on the beat. You don't really have to.
You do know meniscus is in the knee, right?
No, but he doesn't need his meniscus
stop,
to juju.
man.
Yeah.
He was in shape.
I'm slimmer than you.
He was in shape.
Fat boy slim.
He was in shape then.
I tell you what,
Autotrader player
you think you
comparison.
weigh more, less than me now?
Hey, muscle weighs more than fat.
Oh, somebody get a scale.
Why don't you
Put a
answer
phone
that,
on
but you
it.
think you weigh less than me or more?
Probably weigh more, but it's
Okay, I
all
know you
muscle.
weigh more. Fat people weigh more than skinny people.
No, they don't. Muscle weighs more than
Yeah,
fat.
okay. Well, you got a
If you
big
didn't
old
go to
muscle
Auburn,
around
you
your
know that.
neck.
Muscle weighs more than fat. If you
gotta
didn't go
believe
to
the
Auburn, you know that.
Okay, okay.